Well, it is another day. We are live again. It is another day. Conversation with the politician. Um, if you're in, thank you for joining. If you're on your way, thank you for joining in the future. If you watch this later, thank you for taking the time of day. We're in a climate where everybody and their grandmama is live.
Right.
And and so we are really attempting to give forth the best information as we can, make sure that it's good content consistently. And so if you've clocked in for these next few fleeting moments, I definitely appreciate you, and I'm sure our guest does as well. Speaking of which, we are honored to have I call everybody the Kenya with us here today. Of course,
Hi.
hey. Of course, running all things group, I believe, and I think you'll give us some a little bit of background on what that is and what it means, what it stands for. Um, of course, has had been on tour uh,
Yeah.
at least pre-pandemic. I hope you haven't been touring with COVID out.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, cool. Because I'm a little, I love God, so I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
You might could get it through StreamYard. So I just want to make sure that that everybody is covered. But I want you to kind of introduce yourself and some of the things you've been able to do. It's not bragging to me. It's just it's your resume. Um,
Yeah.
and so just kind of let us know who you are and what you do and what you've been able to do over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm honored. So I am Kenya, as he stated. I am a network strategist and content creator for all things Loop. Loop stands for Live It, Own It, Obtain It on Purpose. And Loop
My God,
is a multi
my
And Loop is a multimedia platform designed to help millennials level up in their lives and careers. And we've have had opportunity to do that for at least 2 years. It'll be 2 years this month. We've been all over the world, just going around, really inspiring and giving millennials actual platform to allow their voices to be heard in some type of way, even if it's through poetry, definitely through brand, definitely through corporate America and things like that. So that's what we've done. We've really hound on the opportunity to allow them to connect with one another. So all things Loop has always been that place for them, and so it's a really good opportunity that we've had just to go all over the world and speak and inspire and give them a platform for their voices to be heard.
want everyone take 2 seconds. I felt like Babyface for a second. I don't know what's going on.
I was like, Lord, my phone, what's going on? It's
No,
me,
we're
it's
not.
me.
We're not going to do that. Take 2 seconds and share it, everyone. I don't. It might be something up with your audio. I'm not sure. For some reason, my like this thing keeps on sending my phone into uh, friends and not public, and so I just fixed that. I think I hope. Um,
Okay.
but if you're on here, take a half a second, huh? Then go ahead and put this on your timeline. Let's get this conversation going. If you can't really hear, because it sounded like you were cracking up a little bit. If you can't really hear her like that, let us know in the comments. I see my man Emmanuel is out here. That's my guy. Emmanuel is hilarious.
Hi, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel is hilarious. But I think this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a great conversation. Um, I think we're so big on the ideas, and of course, we're faith based. So we're
Yeah.
majorly big on the ideas that God gives us. We're so big on, we're creatives. We come up with all of this stuff, and God
Mm.
gets something in a dream, man. I
Yeah.
want to see it into fruition, and I think it's important to have people like you around us that can kind of tell us the logistics of not just having the dream, but making it happen.
Yeah.
Before we even jump all the way into the conversation, I want you to just give us a little bit about that background in marketing and strategy. Um, Okay, so she said we're good. All right, so I'm going to follow the woman of God, and then
Hey,
Emmanuel
Jaquia.
too. So so we're getting confirmation, the man and the woman of God. I want you to talk to us a little bit about the idea of making sure we're marketing right, we're having those right networking conversations. I believe that in business, it's 50% what you have and 50% who you know.
Absolutely.
And if the 50% don't really, if they don't meet for you,
Hmm.
then sadly you'll have a great idea and it won't go as far as it should. And so I
Absolutely.
just want you to expound on that a little bit and on your background in that particular area.
Yeah, so with All Things Loop, like you stated before, we did a tour, a whole tour, 5 city tour in North Carolina, Washington D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, Dallas, Texas, and I came back to my hometown of Gary, Indiana.
Come
So,
on, man.
of course, right. So, one of the things that when you talk about marketing things like that, I
Yeah,
didn't know anyone in those states. Like I may have, I'm a Delta as well, so I may have reached into my little, networks that way. But for the most part, I had to get out there and market it to the best, to the best of my ability. And
yeah,
then one of the things about marketing as well, it's not always what you do at that point is how you do it and how you present it. It was so many times, like, so in North Carolina I only had 12 people there. Like I went in, I had 12 people, and of course, from starting with 12 people, you may think in your mind like, man, I failed.
right,
It's only 12 people. What am I going to do? But my mindset came, and I thank God so much, and I always say this, that I thank God that he didn't allow me to feel like a failure, because if he would allow me to feel like a failure, then I wouldn't have went on and did it. I would have been like, oh, okay, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not going for 12 more people. It's just
right,
not gonna happen.
right,
So,
right.
like, he really, really encouraged me in that moment. I went home. I was like, okay, it's something different. But what happened in those 12 people was those 12 people told 12 more people. They went on as 12, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was, and I didn't do everything correct
Right.
in North Carolina. I didn't do everything correct, but the way that I executed it and
Yeah.
my vision for it, those 12 people went on and told 12 people. And then when I got to Washington, D.C., it was 35 people there. And so those 35 people and the audience that was there, plus the guests, plus the speakers, they
Come
told more
on.
people. Right.
Come on.
So then when I got to Dallas, it was 55, 60 people there. And I
Yeah.
was like, dang, and it was just all about going back to the drawing board,
Yeah.
seeing what I've done wrong in North Carolina and seeing what I've done wrong in Washington, D.C., seeing what I've done wrong in Dallas. And then when I got to Atlanta, it was double what it was. So it's just all about going back to the drawing board and seeing what you've done wrong, fix it, execute it to the best of your ability. Once I got done and got to Indiana, I was at 75 people. And that's just basically off of word of mouth and
Yeah.
marketing to the best of my ability and
Yeah.
executing whatever I'm marketing. You cannot go to an event and have a
Yeah.
brand without have great marketing strategies.
Agreed.
I believe that one of the things that I did, I saw my problems, I saw my mistakes, and I went
Yeah.
back. Like for Washington D.C., a lot of people told me like, Kenya, why aren't you hosting this? Why aren't you the one in the seat? This is yours. You're in going to different cities. Why
Yeah.
aren't you the one doing it? And I was like, I am not doing this. But I listened to the people, and once I listened, it was a remarkable outcome from me listening. So just listening, going back
Yeah.
to the drawing board, and fixing the mistakes or even tweaking them to the best of your ability for your audience, listening to them, and then just
Absolutely.
executing to the best of your ability.
Tell me this, because in the faith-based community, of course, and especially our community,
Mm-hmm.
we feel like people owe us
No,
their support. We feel like
no.
people owe us them showing up and buying things and
Mm-mm.
supporting and things of that nature. We feel like that's mandated out of people we know or love or whatever the case may be. Talk to me about a realistic approach to marketing, especially when we're talking marketing those that are around us.
Yeah.
And sometimes even those that we know. I think everybody during this season has gotten that message. Hey, do you want to turn $400 into $20,000 in 21 days? And I'm sitting here like, man, I don't know you.
Right.
Like, can you say hi first? I would
Yeah.
like a hi. Can I get an introduction into this $20,000 that I'm going to make?
Yeah.
And it's a blow to me. Like, how do we bridge the gap there between us? And I understand that it's our zeal for what we're doing. It's our zeal for what we're involved in. It's our zeal for the things that we believe in. But how do we bridge that with the right way to market?
I think it all comes back to relationship as well.
Agree.
It's all about relationship. Like you can't even with me doing the tour, it was all about building. Like
Yeah.
them 12 people, I had to build something with them. Even
Yeah.
though it was 12 people, I had to build a relationship with them in that moment. You know, sometimes it doesn't always have to be sometimes it doesn't always have to
I
be this
just got
long
one
drawn
today.
out. Right, me too.
I just got one, literally probably 2 hours
I
ago.
did too.
I just got one.
I did
I'm
too.
tired. I'm tired.
I did too. It's like getting to the point where it's like, do you even know me? Like, what's up? Like,
I'm I got the craziest message, but look, this is not the platform to be doing all that. I'm a focus. I'm a focus on the conversation because this it could go very left.
oh wow, okay.
No, we're talking marketing. Talk to
Yeah, so no, it's just about building relationships. And those 12 people, I had to build a solid relationship. I had to tell them who I was. And then people got to know you genuine as
yeah,
well. You know, like you
absolutely.
can't just come on and just sell yourself. You have to be able to not just sell your product, but sell who you are, your character in that moment. And I believe that is a lot to have to go, a lot to go off of. That's a
Yeah,
lot to be able to do. You have to have a relationship with people. Like people
yeah,
not gonna support you just because, and people not going to recommend you to others just
agree.
because. You have to build something, and you have to build a solid foundation. You have to know that you are, you can do it, and then also people got to know like consistency. They're
Yeah,
not gonna even. They're people not gonna support you if you're not consistent as well. So that all comes around with marketing because if you're not consistent in it, and
yeah,
if you haven't built solid relationship, then you
yeah.
won't be able to market anything. What is it that we're marketing? What is it that we're
Right,
putting out? What is
right,
it that we are putting exposure to if we're not
right.
being consistent in what we're doing? So those things you
I
have
want
to
you.
do it.
I want you to stay right there because I believe that's important.
Hmm.
Once again, I had to, and I'm weary about the faith-based community. I'm very
Hmm.
weary, but it's because I'm worried. It's because
Yeah.
I see so much potential. I see so much faith, charisma, and also people are really getting God ideas.
Hmm.
And what's happening is I'm realizing that we don't have the know-how between idea and
Yeah.
implementation.
Yeah.
Like we're stuck in the middle. And so what keeps on happening is someone has the best God idea ever, and someone else actually goes and does it.
Do it and execute it. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Talk to me, and what you just said is key, especially in that. Talk to me about the idea of branding because, especially in the church, we're a little scared of that word. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're a little scared of that word, and I believe branding is just when I think of Kenya, I think all things new. That's what
Hmm.
I believe branding is. Branding is simply what I associate
I'm
with.
glad you think that.
That's
Because that would
what
go
I
all
believe
wrong
it
if
is.
you didn't.
Listen, so I
All
want
wrong.
you to how do if I'm starting off or I received an idea or if I do believe I got this vision from the Lord and He
Yeah.
dropped something in my spirit, right? And that's the whole idea. And there's nothing wrong with that. That really does happen. How do I go from that to making sure that I'm associated with this God-given idea until I get into implementation?
So I can't take all the credit for all things Loop. My one of my friends, my really really good friends, Asia Korean, is like a backbone for me. So I have to share that spotlight with her. But she has always told me, she's always told me like, Kenya, you already got it. But I'm like, no, I need some more advice. But she. I think about really for real bringing the gap together is just really being able to know that it's faith-based people think that if we just pray and if we just if we just pray a
Ooh,
lot and if we just pray a little, a little bit more, then it's gonna happen. But there
My
is a big
God.
gap in between that prayer and that execution, and that is that hard work. That's that
Yes,
late nights, maybe. That
yes,
is that a lot of research.
yes,
That is a lot of data. A data of research of trying to figure out, or not even trying to figure out, but figuring out what is really good for that target audience.
right.
I can't tell you anything about a 10 through 15 because that's not my target audience. But if
Right.
you ask me something about the 20 to 35-year-old millennials, I can tell you everything because I did my research about them.
Yeah.
I did what I was supposed to do. So there is a big gap, and that big gap is the hard work. When I wanted to do the tour, I did the tour off of a lot of things, just basic research, like the cities that I picked.
Yeah.
It was based off research. It was based off who was, what a young professionals was at. How could I help them? What did they need? Could I give them what they needed? Like,
Yeah.
who was the people that they were looking up to in that city? And when I got that, then I was able to reach out to those people and say, hey, I heard you was the stuff in Washington, D.C. I need you to be on my panel. And
Right.
people was like, who is this girl? No, I need y'all to be on there. And then when they saw my resume from the
Right.
cities to the cities to the cities, they was like, oh yeah, I need to be on that. So it's a big gap. It's a big gap, but that big gap is a lot of research. It's a lot of data. It's a lot of late nights. It's a lot of trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. How can I make this look better? What can I do to get this to look better? So it's just a big gap. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we forget that big gap, and that big gap is a lot.
I want to, and for me, I don't even want to leave this big gap yet. I want to stay
Yeah,
there because from these are the things we're not talking about.
absolutely.
We get in, and I have to keep going back to this because of course we're faith based,
Yeah.
and our community. We are God told me,
God
and
told me.
between God told me and down the street, there's
It's a
nothing.
lot.
It's so much more to do.
Yeah.
And we'll sit there on that God told me and literally sit there and wear that God told me out.
And
And so,
until somebody else got it. And then it'd be like, God told me to do that. Well, yeah, he told you, but did you do the
right,
work?
right. And now, and I posted about this not too long ago, and now we're jealous
Yeah.
because such and such, oh, that's my idea. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Because if God gave you something, if he gave you an idea, he gave you a business, whatever he gave you, it's because someone else needs it.
Yeah.
And God is not going to watch someone need something he gave you and you're not giving it. He's going to give it to somebody else.
He definitely is.
He's going to, that's Bible 101. And
Yeah.
so I want you to, I need emphasis on this late night. What is a typical day for you? Like on you don't even have to give me pandemic day because
Okay.
I understand that pandemic has been a whole different world.
It's a whole nother life.
Pandemic is a whole different world. But in the reality of our lives, in the reality of the world we live in, just in a normal day, what does a day into the night look like for you?
Yeah. So for me, it's I have a nephew. Everybody knows I have a nephew that I take care of. So that's definitely, he's my main priority. So getting him up at 6:30 in the morning, trying to get him to school, and then coming back. I have a 9 to 5. Oh, I had a 9 to 5. Pandemic just kind of took that out. But once I had a 9 to 5, I work from home. So not only was I working from home doing my job, but I was working from home doing all things Loop. So
Yeah.
it was Zoom. Well, at that time, a lot of people didn't do Zoom, but I did a lot of Zoom. So I would do at least 2 to 3 Zooms a week, even if it was not with Asia. I would do one with someone in a different city or somebody that I've connected with before, and allow them to say, "Hey, I'm still out here. I'm taking a little breather, but I have this going on, and I want you to watch this." Or I will just research people that I will want to connect with, and I'll send out an email or of some sort and say, "Hey, my name is Kenya. I've done X, Y, and Z. I would love to connect with you. I love what you're doing. I love how you're executing. I love how you are impacting your community." However that may be, I always make sure that I'm connecting with some type of person in my target audience that day. Once I do that, If I am not at home by a certain time, I'm getting dinner done. I'm literally trying to get homework done. And then the night is me doing stories, me content creating things, me being able to work on this app, me doing videos, and just trying to make myself know and push myself. Push
What time
myself.
do you get done with? What is the time in the night every night that you finish that? Is it 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock? What time is that? My point is that
honestly
there is no
honestly
time.
it varies. Sometimes I like, literally the other day, literally I fell asleep and then I woke up and my laptop was on my
Sitting right.
lap,
Listen,
and I was like, wait a minute, what time did I go to sleep? Like,
right?
what time? Like, what time? So I'm like, oh my goodness. And then so me being who I am, because I know I have a goal in mind, and
Absolutely.
I'm like, okay, let me just finish it. I could do another 20 minutes. I could do another 30 minutes. Like I can do this. And then so like people are like, Kenya, you need to sleep. No, I'll sleep in a minute. But I start like, I'll sleep. I'll sleep. But I gotta go.
Listen.
And when I feel like I got more, I don't have time right now. Like I gotta keep going. So it's just all in my head. So
That's the piece. That right there is the piece I really want people to understand.
yeah,
And it's not from a, it's not like I'm just great and mighty and high or whatever
nah,
the case may be. It's just the fact that I see where you can be.
yeah,
You can be in the same place. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I look at some people that and the potential they have and the God-given ability and the draw, the pull that they have. And
mm-hmm.
I want to be completely honest, they could be 10 times further than me, 10 times
Absolutely.
faster if they just applied themselves. If
Mm-hmm.
they looked at what they were doing and they seriously looked themselves in the mirror and said, I can be here if I apply myself. They could be that much further, that much quicker if they really just set their mind to do it. And so that's
Absolutely.
why for me, that's one thing that I would love to champion, even if it's, bringing people like you and just
Mm-hmm.
people that are about it that can
Yeah.
say, look, we see what you have, but it's not enough if you're going to get here. Like it's
And,
going to take a little bit more.
and the reason why, I said a long time ago, you have your little ups and down moments, and I do. Don't
Absolutely.
please don't think. But what
Absolutely.
I've learned through this is that I do not want to be next year being in Gary, Indiana, which I love Gary, Indiana. This is where I'm from, whatever, on the couch saying I should have, I would have, I could have, but because I didn't work,
Right.
I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I will not be a statistic of saying what I could have, what I should have done, what I wanted to do. And because it was me, like it wasn't even anyone else, but because it was me,
Right.
I'm not where I'm supposed to be. That would never happen. I did that years ago. I did that 4 years ago, and I had to start all over. And the amount of pressure and just the anxiety that comes with that is just like, nah, I got to make this and I got to do it. And once I feel down and once I even try to even go that way, it's like, nah,
Yeah.
I got goals. I've done this before. I've wasted time before. I
Yeah.
don't have time to waste anymore. I
Yeah.
have to make it and I got to do it.
I want to circle back to a comment, and I didn't put on the screen for a reason. Arshana said this earlier, like how he handed, speaking of God, how he handed over over to David, and took it away from Saul. That was exactly what was on my mind
Yeah.
in that moment. Somebody is going to get that job done. Let us not
It
think,
is.
let us not think that God just needs us so much, and He is just so in need of us particularly. Just because He gives you a grace to get something done doesn't mean He's going to tarry.
Doesn't mean.
If He gives you something, get to it and get to it fast. You
Yeah.
kind of mentioned this, and it's just that ability that that's the gift for you of connecting professionals.
Yeah.
And of course, you've already told us what your target audience is, and that's millennials, young professionals. Talk to me a little bit about what that process is like, some of the things that you do, and how that can benefit a young professional or a young striving entrepreneur or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, so for what we do, it's a platform. We give them a voice to be heard. The tour was all about that. We had different young professionals in different areas of industry, branding, graphic design, radio, corporate America, politics, and we had them every stop, maybe like 6 or 7 each
Yeah.
stop. And then I did 4 young professionals that I honored. It could have been in communications, it could have been in education, could have been in their community. And what we did was that we allowed them to give our audience tips. And it wasn't just like cookie cutter tips, it was like
Yeah.
really good tips to help them to advance to the next level in their in whatever industry that they were going to be in. And so
Absolutely.
one of the things that we do is that we connect people together. We allow them to have a voice. We tell their stories, and not in just a way that we we're able to just say,
All
hey,
right.
this person, right? No, I'm good, I promise.
All right.
No, just not in a way that a person, you just tell them about their backstory, but we're giving them actual tips on how
Yeah.
to make it in their industry, how they can do different things, what is it that they can do better. And that's what it's all about for us, is just allowing the people to be helped and improved in so many areas. So that's what we are, that's what we do, and we connect people with one another.
Yeah. Talk to me. And I want to kind of stay in that realm. Um, I, for some of us, there we have talents and gifts and things of that nature, those ideas, but
Yeah,
sometimes we really just don't know. And I'll
we
be honest,
don't.
there are some people that really just don't know.
Hmm.
And you're kind of that connecting piece that takes you from I don't know to now I have no excuses.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the power of being exposed to the unknown. And what I mean by that is I'm exposed to a different idea of life. I'm exposed to a different group. I'm exposed to a different mindset of people. If you get around myself and you clearly, if you're someone that's never been experienced with this, you cannot sit with us for lunch every single day
Yeah.
and still feel normal. It's just
Yeah.
not possible because you've now been exposed to a new
Hmm.
idea of self. So talk to me a little bit about that and how what you do kind of plays into that as well.
Okay, so I can just talk about myself. Like
That's
I keep saying, like I'm from Gary, Indiana, and from Gary, Indiana, a lot of people, when you come into Gary, it's not a lot that goes on. So when I began to travel and things like that, I was exposed to a whole different world, like a whole different world how people live, a whole different world how people think, a whole different world how people move. Like it inspired me. And when I got inspired by that, I wanted to make sure that whoever I put in that magazine was able to give that same feeling that I got when I went to all these cities and was able to connect with all these people.
yeah,
So you're right. Like you can never go into a room and somebody is on a whole nother level as you, and you come out like, dang, like it
yeah,
really, really pumps you up to do more. And so that's what
absolutely.
happened with me. Like I was like pumped. I just did not know. We don't do things here like that. It's not something that is the norm here. So when I was able to be exposed to that, it blew my mind. So for the magazine to do that for so many people, to make sure that they know that it's so many stories in there and so many expertise in there that if you don't figure it out by the time you read so many of the excerpts, then you won't just know.
Absolutely. I want to go to the idea of growth. If someone is
Yeah.
a entrepreneur, they've been working for a little bit, and I know you know this for sure, but as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, as a business owner, you find walls every now and
Mhm.
then. You
All the
find those
time.
walls that you got all the time, literally all the time, whether they
All the
be
time.
creative walls or branding walls, whether they be kind of that wall to take you to that next level, getting over
Yeah.
that hump. How do you grow past the walls that you kind of are getting past every now and then? How does an entrepreneur, what does that mindset look like in order to grow through those walls?
I know a lot of people would say you got to think about your why. I know, I understand.
It sounds
But
good.
it sounds good. That's what I was about to say. I know people wanted me to say, what about your why? Go for it. But sometimes that why is just like, listen,
Listen,
if I don't care about this why, it can go this way and I can go that way. So it like
that's
literally
real.
that's so
That's
real
so
because
real.
my why sometimes is just not as in my face as I wanted to be
Yeah.
sometimes. So, so I will say this is just me, how I get through it. I just really, really don't want to be in the same place that I was last year. That's just me.
Yeah.
That's my motivation to get through it. Like, I don't see myself doing this or being in this form next year. And it
Absolutely.
always is a push for me. Like, Kenya, you still doing this? Oh, okay. So it's always like, what you doing? Like, are you not doing what you supposed to? So it's
Right.
self-evaluation for me a lot of times, of just trying to figure out, like, yo, I got to get this. And I mean, it may sound cliche in so many ways, but I just don't want to be like everyone else. I want to live comfortable. I want to be okay. I want to be able to have a vacation and still do my passion. It's just certain things that I want to do in my life, and I can't do it if I'm not pushing myself, and I'm allowing every wall that comes with me and to just stagnate me. It's just not
Yeah.
gonna work.
How does and to you, tell me how important this is. And I think this branches out into way more than just business. I think it branches
Yeah,
out into ministry and everything, whatever it is, where we talk about callings and God ideas and things of that nature. I think this is a question that's relative to all of that. Question being, how important is the ideas of purpose and assignment when it comes to the things that you choose to do, like the things that you sell yourself on doing. I'm a true advocate for not taking up the collar if you're not purpose for that. I
yeah,
believe it will take you out of here because when you're the one that's supposed to cry out for souls, that's a major burden. That's not
yeah,
that's not just that collar look good on Sunday when you got the vestments on and all those other things, but on an average day when you have to account for many households, some households have sick persons, some households they're moving, they don't know where to go, some households do not have any funds. There's
yeah,
so many things you have to worry about that if that's not what you're supposed to be doing, you will burn out because
yeah,
that's not your job.
yeah,
And I think the same thing in the professional aspect. I think you can burn out at a job that's not for you. But better yet, I think when you take on that entrepreneur role and you do start to grow, now you're responsible.
for
For
so
me, when
much.
I started realizing that I'm now responsible for other people taking
Yeah,
money to their house,
yeah,
right? Somebody else's food on their table is now my responsibility. That's a heavy task.
yeah.
And so, how important to you is the idea of, purpose and even ministry in what we do? How important is that to you? And how do you kind of give advice to those that ask you questions to that regard?
For me, purpose is so key. I believe that I said this before. I had a magazine before this, 4 years before I started All Things Loop. And in that 4 years, well, to like back it up just a little bit, it was called Action Magazine. And it was very successful. I thought I did really good. It was really good. It didn't, it wasn't like I failed, but I said, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to just take a break and, just see what the next steps are. Well, that break of, it was supposed to be like 2 or 3 weeks or a month, ended up being 4 years. And even in that 4 years, I was able to, go back and forth on what I wanted to do. I worked in corporate America. I did really great in corporate America. But it was still something inside of me that said that I needed to go back into media. Now, if you know me, I need a little bit more confirmation. I'm like, no, do you know what I had to go through when I went to that with that magazine? Like the same things with All Things Loop, the late nights and things like that. And I just
Yeah,
didn't want to go back to it. I
yeah,
just didn't have the energy. I just didn't feel like it. And
yeah,
so because I just didn't feel like it, I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. So for like a lot of time, 4 to 4 years, I just battled with that so much.
yeah,
Battled with it and battled with it. And then finally, September 2017, I literally, it had come to a point, literally, I was so scared of not walking in purpose because I literally just did. I felt so tight, intense every time I talked about media and things like that. And because I was not really doing what I was supposed to do, I was scared. So I believe purpose is so key, because I believe purpose has carried me even in the moments that I didn't want to do it. Purpose has carried me through the times that I wanted to be crushed when I should have been crushed. Purpose has carried me. And when I do my blog series, I always end it off like, I believe purpose will carry me through the next phase, because I do believe inside of me, deep down inside me, there's a purpose for me to be a part of media in some type of form of fashion. And so purpose is always key for me, because I don't think if it was up to Kenya, I would never have went back into media. But because this is purpose for me, this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is where I believe God has really positioned me for a time like this. I believe purpose is going to carry me all the way through.
Listen, I felt like a preaching moment just then.
Oh, no, I'm not.
It felt like a preaching moment. Talk to me about, some of how do you know you're being drawn in? I think, so let me backspace.
Okay.
I see this a lot, right? And I believe parents are definitely supposed to be the first cultivators of your gift, purpose, and assignments, right?
Yeah.
Because it manifests while you're a child. But let's say that that's not your story. Your parents didn't see it, they didn't point it out, and you kind of just have to figure it out on yourself. What do you think is a sure plan of action in order to kind of get to that expected end, even though you know where you want to get, but you don't know how to get there? What does that process look like when you're trying to find the pieces, the clues, and put this puzzle together that kind of tell you where you're supposed to be?
I think it depends on the crowd that you have around you as well. That crowd can be a really good asset for you. Being around that crowd and not always being able to, I think we're prideful people. So I think sometimes we don't ask for help. And so I think asking for help, if you don't know, you don't know. And it's okay, because even in this, it's some things I still don't know. So I'm going to have to go back and ask some people, like, what do you think about this? Or what do you think I should do about X, Y, and Z? That pride can be a killer. And it was for me at one point, but it ain't no more. I will ask because I need to be better. So, and then just basically doing the work. I always say that. I don't think people want to do the work anymore. I think people just want to make it seem like it's good and make it seem like it's all going to happen in one moment. And it's just not. You have to do the work when you are in this thing, and you have to be able to pay attention to what people have done before. So what not to do. What curve to not take, you just know. And once you know that, and I don't think I think people have called it a copycat, but it's not a copycat. It's allowing yourself to see what others have done so you can do yours a little bit better to make it work. And so that's for me, just really being around people that can help you, execute your mindset, allow you not to even go back into that poverty mindset. It's doing the work, it's asking for help, and it's all that above.
I agree on so many levels. I don't think if you're looking back to glean and to get information, that's not a copycat thing. I believe that success leaves a trail.
Yeah.
And there is no point in reinventing the wheel. You just have to make it yours.
Yeah.
And so if you're watching and those are some of the things that you're trying to think about, first of all, don't be scared to go up to the people that, are at the top of what you do and ask questions.
Yeah.
And I'll be completely honest. Is everyone going to give you an answer? No. But that like, I don't understand. If you look at those that have been successful, no never stopped anybody.
No.
Right? No is not your, okay, stop here. You did good. It's all. That's never what a no has been. No has just simply been a wall. And you have to break through walls in order to be successful at any level, doing any level.
And you know what else I think? I believe in my heart, just being humble. People are so nasty. People are so nasty towards others. How you gonna get information from people and you nasty? Your attitude is bad. People ask,
how you gonna run a business?
How? how? Like,
The
you
last
have
time I
to.
checked, business is all about customer service, which
And
is people.
relationship, like
It's
you
people in
cannot.
relationship. Your
You
name
cannot.
is in the gutter everywhere in the city.
Oh my goodness, everywhere. And you have to be nice to people. Like
How
I
did we
hate
get
this.
here?
You have, because I just feel like you have, I'm so tired of seeing people that have businesses and they so nasty. They're
Nasty.
so like their hearts are not right. You can't you ask them a question that's so high and mighty. Like I wouldn't want to do business with you. Like when I go to interviews and when I talk to people, I speak to everyone I come in. I don't care
Everywhere.
who you are. Hi, how
Everywhere.
are you doing? And I'm an introvert, but I
Right.
speak
Right.
because I would want somebody to speak to me. I want
Yep.
someone to talk to me in a certain manner. So that is another thing that burns me up, because how dare you do that to people and you want their business? They're not gonna give you
Listen,
their business.
listen.
They're not gonna
And
give you their business.
people aren't as stupid as you might think they
No,
are.
absolutely not.
People are not as slow as you might think they are. They're not
Mm-mm.
as no. People get it. They understand. And I really do believe in treat. If someone comes around and they wait on you,
Yeah.
give them a good experience.
Give them a good
You know,
experience.
you want, and to me, that's a part of my branding.
Yeah.
Is anytime you have met me, I
Absolutely.
want you to have met someone that you want to be around for the rest of your life. It
And
doesn't
it
make
starts
sense.
from when you go in the door. It
It
starts
starts
from
from
what
the
you,
time I enter the building.
it starts. That's branding.
Because you got to think about it. This is somebody's employee,
Absolutely.
right? The person that you're trying to do business with, they pay this person. They see this person as family.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people don't understand. They have blocked a lot of their opportunities because family will get together after you're gone.
And talk about it.
Oh, oh my God. They don't see, they don't
And
like this
because they
right
and
here.
because they have a relationship with each other, they'll say,
Right.
no, we're not working. Oh, you not working with them? Okay, I'm not working with them either. Oh, you not working with
Exactly.
it's a ripple effect
Exactly.
that they'll do, and you will never know about
Never
it.
know.
You would never know about it.
Never know.
It's like, nah, like let's get this straight. I am here by the grace, like for real. And I don't know about nobody else, but I am here by the grace of God. And I dare not come in here acting like I'm high and mighty. I come in here and I'm ready to learn and work just like everybody else. I don't care if I'm the interviewer or however it is. Like that burns me up, because
I'm
it's
trying to
just
tell
all
you.
about it's all about relationship, and how you gonna have a relationship with somebody that you've been nasty with and you've been rude to and you want their business, and it's not gonna work. Branding starts
I
with
don't get
you.
it.
You can
Branding
get
does
on
start with you.
you can't get
That's
on Facebook Live and be one person, but then when I meet you,
Come
you a whole
on.
different person. Like,
Come
how does that
on.
work? It just gets on my nerves. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, but I think that merits conversation. Those are, like I said at
Absolutely.
the beginning, these are the things we don't speak about. These are the
Yeah,
things where we are so far behind.
man.
That's necessary because you're literally losing deals, you're losing opportunities, you're losing connections, and more importantly, you're having bad spoken about you from a relationship standpoint
Yeah.
because you don't know how to treat people.
You don't know how to
Like,
treat people
people talk, and the
all the
world is
time.
smaller than you think. And so,
Absolutely.
you came in with the best product, you had the best pitch and presentation
And because your attitude is
because your
horrible,
attitude was nasty.
they won't even think about it.
Because your attitude was nasty. Like you're not none of us, and that's me too.
Yeah.
I'm not that much better than the next person.
I know. I
But when
understand.
you meet me, you're going to get such an experience to where if you feel like there's a place where I need to improve in our business connection,
You
you
can
would
tell me.
rather work with me
Yes.
where you want me to improve than go find somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's because of how we
Because I'm
come across.
teachable. I'm teachable. I'm a
Listen,
teachable person.
it's all a part of it. And these are the little things that we
Yeah.
throw under the bus. We want to be so prophetic, so spooky, and so deep that we forget, oh, be kind, oh, be
Yeah.
gentle, oh, be
Yeah.
nice. If you go eat and that waiter comes to serve on you, you could have been that waiter
You
in
could have been that
in
waiter.
another world in totally different circumstances.
I'm two paychecks from being that way.
Do you hear me?
Listen,
For
two
me,
paychecks.
when I go in and I sit down, I'm looking at the waiter like this could be me.
Absolutely.
And so and the only thing that changes what I'll tip is how you treat me.
And how you
Because
treat
if you
me.
come in and I decided to wear some basketball shorts, or I decided to wear some joggings or something, and you said he don't got that much money, I'm just gonna get him his food and get out the way. Well, you're gonna get a tip that's deserving of that. But if you come in, it's a great attitude, it's how you doing, you okay, everything good, does it taste all right? I'm going to give you the kind of tip you're going to be like, what in the world? And I'm going to do it every time, because in the event that is me, which is a possibility, I want God to see what I've done.
Absolutely.
We left sewing at Bishop said, give $20 today. We left sewing right there, and we forgot sewing is our lifestyle.
It's our
and
lifestyle.
the things that we put out in the world, that's exactly what we'll get back.
Yeah.
Go into bad business etiquette. What does business etiquette look like to you?
Okay, so I did I did an interview maybe like 2 weeks ago. This girl, I went, she was like, she's been really like been trying to, do an interview with me, but our schedules just have not been, the greatest. Yeah. So I went, finally we was able to do the interview. Now, when I went to the interview, like we did like a 45-minute interview. Like I'm giving it all. I'm like, oh yes, I did good. God is good, because I'm always nervous anyway. And so when she got up, she was like, Kenya, she's like, it stopped recording. Now in that moment, I could have showed my tail.
And I'm gonna be honest, as a videographer, I've been there before.
Listen, I could have showed my tail, but in that moment, how would that make me look if I made her feel worse than what she already felt? I saw it in her eyes. Yeah. Like I saw it in her to be like, dang, I gotta tell this girl that, now this video, we're gonna have to do this whole video all over again. Yeah. And so I said, you know what, that's fine. I said, let's go. Let's do it the next time. And then so the next time I did an hour one, because I want to let you know that this is not all about your mistake. We're gonna get this right. I'm teachable. I'm ready. Now I had to get some water.
Listen, I feel like I need some water right now.
Right. So I was tired of talking. But in that moment, how would I have made her feel?
Yeah.
If I would have been like, oh, how dare you, just really being nasty towards her. So I think about moments like that, because how would I want her to make me feel if it was me? Like if I did that, how would I want her to make me feel? So in that, it's just all about how you treat people. And afterwards, I mean, she texts me so many times like, Kenya, I'm so sorry. I was like, girl, it's fine. We done. I'm over it. I'm on my next interview. I got doing one in like 2 days. I'm fine. It's cool. Like, and she continually apologized to me and was like, thank you for being so patient. No, I give you this because I would want somebody to be as patient with me as I was with you.
Absolutely. I want to, and I even want to say this to commend you, is the fact that in that moment you actually had every right. Yeah. You had the right to say, I'm tired. I gotta go. I got such. I got such.
My baby was calling me.
Right. I was just about to say I gotta go take care of my nephew at the crib. Yeah. Like there's a lot of things in that moment. There's a lot of different places you could have went with that, and to exemplify that in that moment, that's something you'll always remember. Yeah. And which leads me to my next point. Is the idea of word of mouth. You're going to be able to get so many clients by Instagram and Facebook and all of this other stuff, but a lot of those clients don't stick. I'll be completely honest with you. Yeah. But the clients you get by word of mouth, the clients that you get from, I've been working with such and such for a long time, I recommend them to you, and then they come. Those are the clients that you're really going to be able to have access to. What does a behavior worthy of word of mouth look like? And how important is word of mouth to any business, brand, or idea?
So word of mouth is why I'm here. Word of mouth is why All Things Loop have been going on for 2 years without a central place of content, without a central place of where to go. Word of mouth has carried me for 2 years. word of mouth, good word of mouth, and how I present myself when I come in. If you ask me to do a presentation, I'm going to do that presentation to the best of my ability because I
Yeah.
want you to tell people like Kenya was dope and I'm
Right.
going to kill it.
Right.
And that's no arrogance on anything.
It's just
Like,
the truth.
it's just the truth.
It's
I'm
just the
gonna
truth.
kill it, and I'm gonna kill it to the fact of the matter is that you're gonna tell the CEO of whatever company that it's gonna, that you want to tell it to. So word of mouth is the reason why I am here. Word of mouth is the reason why I keep getting emails asking me when am I coming back to their city.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is the reason why people are emailing me asking me, do you know such and such person? What do you think about that person? How can I connect with this person? Do you know a graphic designer? Do you know a videographer? Do you know? So word of mouth carried me and has carried me for this long. So you cannot go anywhere in business and not have a good reputation and people are talking about you. My agent says all the time, if somebody is on a status and they ask for recommendations and your name is not coming up, then you got to go back to the drawing board
Yeah.
because you have to be in constant talk of people's mouths. And so once I got my first like tag Kenya, I was like, oh, here I go. Let me go to the next level. Like here I go. And it just gives me drive. It gives me
Absolutely.
drive. It makes me be like, okay, I gotta go harder. So word of mouth is definitely what keeps a business. Good word of mouth is what keeps a
Yeah.
business, and effective collaboration as well. Like we gotta be able to collaborate with one another
Absolutely.
effectively, and
Yep.
then do it to the best of our ability. Because if we don't
Agreed.
do it effectively, then we won't make it.
Agreed. And I want to go here. I think the majority of those that are on tonight are faith based. I want to go here from a branding perspective. I want you to know that Jesus was the best brander ever. I want us to really understand, it all starts with him. So when you look at Jesus, he'll heal you.
Yeah.
And then the first thing he'll tell you to do is don't do it no more.
Yeah.
And then he'll tell you, go talk about it.
Yeah.
That's branding 101.
That's branding 101.
You're now marketing my brand.
Yeah.
I've healed you. You're telling everybody else. Now everyone else knows I'm a healer.
Yeah.
And
people are talking about me. Yeah.
And people are talking about me. And
Absolutely.
listen, all I had to do was what I do,
Yeah.
and then tell you to go tell them. And I think that's what we forget is you need people. They don't like this.
Yeah.
I promise they don't like this.
And and I think people think that you don't need to tell people. People need to tell others about you.
They don't want to. Oh my God, I'm dropping.
You want to be the one like, hey, yo, Kenya
did. No, they don't. They're tired. I'm tired. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm tired.
Right. Absolutely.
When you get it from a different source, you see something that's actually being done. And when you're seeing someone else brag on you more than you're saying about yourself, you know that your product is finally effective. You know that your product works.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. We would just talk about that in in one of the lives. Is the fact that Jesus is that brand. The blueprint is in the Bible. The business blueprint is absolutely in the Bible.
And Nehemiah as well. So, that was one of my favorite ones through the tour. So, yeah.
Come on now. Talk to me about this. So from a branding perspective, getting people to buy in from a team perspective, you said you went from 12 to 30 to 75. What does getting people to actually buy in look like? What is that process? What is an effective way to do it? And what are the no-nos to getting people to buy into your brand, into your vision?
Okay, so the main thing for me is that oh, that's my first lady. I'm sorry. No, but I lost my train of thought when my first lady came on. So it's always good to have leaders. But
well, let's go ahead and take a break and iron this one out. Shout out to First Lady Jacobs.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Zion Temple.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and iron that out so that you can
right. So one of the biggest things for me, and it's to get to people's pain points. And I know a lot of people may even, say, I don't know, but once you hit someone's pain points in marketing, and once you allow the people to know that you resonate with what they're going through
Yeah.
and resonate with how you can help them, then it's a better way to be able to allow them to buy into your product.
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of research to find out what is the pain points of this target audience. How can I reach them? Because if I can give them on the resources that I need for them to have in their pain points, and they'll buy whatever I need them to buy.
Right.
I can, that's one of the main things for me. In different cities, in different places, I had to find the pain point in that city. What are they looking for? What makes them cry? What makes them be frustrated? Why aren't they making their business their number one thing? Why are they working a 9 to 5 job and then also doing a business on the side? What is it that I need to give them? Who are the speakers that I need to give them, so when they do come, they can
Yeah.
be able to be filled? I can give them a resource for that pain point that they
Yeah.
have. So that is the biggest thing for me. That's how I did it. That's how I was able to really, for real, get in there and get the irony of everyone. I went to their pain points. I wanted to know why you were not doing what you wanted to do. I wanted to know
Yeah.
why you were not stepping out on faith. And once I figured out why, and that was through a lot of research and data, and that was through a lot of conversation. And when I figured out why, then I was able to go to the speakers. Then I was able to, bring the people in that I needed to bring in, because now I know that I can give them what they've been crying for. I
Right.
knew that I was able to give them what they were, they were saying, like, maybe I shouldn't do it. No, I have someone for you, and
Yeah.
this person is going to help you. So that's a big thing for me, is
Yeah.
that finding out what's their pain points. Why aren't they doing what they're supposed to do?
So I want to stay here because this can really help somebody.
Yeah.
If you were, and I'm sure you're also a coach as well, just
Oh,
helping out, and not necessarily a life coach, but I'm just saying
okay.
from a branding perspective, a
Okay.
strategist. And so if you were sitting down with an entrepreneur, sitting down with someone that's trying to get a brand off the floor, what are some of those first things that you tell them to look out for? What are some of those first pieces of advice that you're giving in order to kind of maneuver in what would be for that person an entirely new world?
One thing is our mindset. I know it may sound cliche, but if you do not allow your mindset to take you into an entrepreneur mindset of
Yeah.
saying, like, this is what I'm going to do, not having like an option B, C, D, F. No, this is my option A, and going with that. I think that's the first thing, is like trying to make sure that your mindset is up for the level that
Yeah.
you're going to about to go through, because
Yeah.
entrepreneur is not always, good days. And then after you're
Absolutely.
doing for mindset, definitely the second, I always talk about research. Research is so handy and it's so key. Research will allow you to know what words to use for your target audience, and what words not to use.
Yeah.
I can't use like other words that teenagers will use with my target audience, because it won't resonate with them.
Yeah.
So allowing the people to research, like, and research can be from maybe 2 months to 3 months, and it can be a whole compile of things that you have really went back and figured out to see how you're able to do what you need to do with your target audience. And then the third thing, I will always tell people, go out and network, go out and talk to people, go out and talk with people, tell people what you're doing, allow them to hear your heart, allow them to see, what you have going on. You never know who can be able to help you in a setting. I don't care if it's 5 people networking
Listen.
event to 100 people networking event. You
Listen.
need to make sure you get out there and you need to talk to people. That was one of the big things for me. Like, I'm such a, introvert. They was like, okay, I don't want, but once I did, it changed the game for me, because then people were talking, about what I want to do, and people were calling me like, maybe I can help you in this way, or maybe
Yeah.
somebody else can help you in this way. So it's all about getting out there and networking. And then also, like, I know people have ideas and want to do it, but also
God
just
told me.
get right, but putting structure behind that idea. that is humongous for me, putting real structure behind the idea that you have.
Yeah.
And when I say structure, I mean really for real, allowing it to live in that moment. Don't just put anything together. You need to know. I mean, of course, you're gonna have to do some tweaks along the way, but for the first go around, you need to have a lot of structure for it. And once you have that structure, I think that it'll be really good. And sometimes I think we think it's a big mystery of this, but you just have to do the work. After the structure, you just have to do the work. And once you do the work, I'm a prime example of doing the work and allowing it to roll on. And once you do that, I think you'll be fine.
First, amazing points across the board. I want to go back to the networking point.
Yeah.
Because like we said earlier, half of it is actually what you do and what you know.
Mm-hmm.
The other half of it is who you know. And to be completely honest, it might be 25-75%.
Yeah.
It might be
Absolutely.
25% of the idea and the gift that God gave you, but someone's gonna have to come around and endorse you and your idea and gift. How important to you would you say not marketing, but networking is getting in, putting yourself in position to meet people you wouldn't normally meet, and then also being attentive to people that you don't even think they have what you need, but they do if you have the conversation. How important are those little moments, and how have you seen those important kind of in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Action Mag, I had a lot of connects from that. So when I was able to start All Things Loop, I was able to because I didn't burn bridges. I didn't burn bridges.
Whoa!
So, but right. So I was able to go back to a lot of those connects and say, hey, this is what I'm doing now. I would love for your support. Can you help me? And so many people was like, yeah, can you? So yeah, I can help you. So what do you need? It was all about networking. It was all about getting out there. I think with Action Mag, I went to so many events in a day. Deidre Hester, she was my assistant at that time, or my partner at that time. And we pounded the pavement of going to so many events. And it wasn't because we wanted to be seen. It's because we needed to do as much as we can to show people that we were out here. If you needed anything for media, we were your girls. Like if you were going to call someone for an interview story to be up all night for, maybe Tank was coming to town, and you call somebody else, no, you need to call us. Like it
Not
was
Tank.
just
My God.
He's fine, but like
listen, I believe in Jesus.
But it was just the point of being, just being out there. And once you network, and once you get your name out there, it was an amazing tool to allow people to know that they're here. They, I don't know what they do. A lot of people say, I don't know what they do, but they talk to me about X, Y, and Z. So maybe you should give them a call. It was always one of those. And so networking is so key. It was one of the ways and one of the things that helped me get All Things Loop up. A lot of the people that I was able to
listen, man of God. I don't know about that same comment either. Listen, man of God. Listen.
I didn't know you were still on here, Sean.
Listen,
I didn't know you was still on here.
I don't know what you about that either. I'm not endorsing that. You saw how I perked up.
Listen, I didn't know you were still on here, so listen. But you fine too though.
My God,
Sean,
listen, I didn't come out here for this. I'm calling on Jesus even now because
he's my fiance, so yeah, that's why he did that. So.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, so networking is just key.
Yeah. He said he's telling Bishop. Oh my God.
Just going with just going with the interview. Don't laugh at him.
That's hilarious. Listen, Jacob's gonna get you. We're so key on I need my money, run me up my bag, give me my. But I'm going to be completely honest. I've seen a lot of my biggest blessings are on some things that
I did for free.
Okay, there we go. The cat's out of the bag. that my secret sauce is now it's in the street now. It's
Mm-hmm.
that's out of the bag. It's certain things that I did for free where a blessing came from nowhere that I never ever was expecting. I never knew that such and such opportunity was coming. I just did what I did, honestly, out of the goodness of my heart. I did it because I cared. I did it because I was worried. I did it because, and sometimes we'll be honest, I did it because I thought it was a good marketing idea.
Yes. And it
And
would give me experience. It would give me experience in that.
and because I did it, because I stepped out and because that was something I did, it landed something I never thought about.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about kind of the willingness to do that, but also really about having the eyesight to see when is a good moment to do that. Right.
Yeah, I'm always led to do it. I was a personal assistant of Mona Lisa Brown. She was off. Now this is gonna be real. She was off of Flavor of Love, one of the Flavor of Love, and she like went all across the world. So I was like her personal assistant for 3 years, and I did not get paid for 3 years. But in that moment, in that 3 years, I traveled all over the world. I was able to talk with people. And I just believe now, as I'm even thinking about it now, it was the reason or even the catalyst of me being able to do what I'm doing now. In 3 years, I was able to negotiate contracts for her. I was able to talk on her behalf. I was able to schedule different things with her. I was able to, people would ask me different questions and I would just know it because I was her personal assistant for that long. And that was 3 years. Like I did not get paid for 3 years.
That's helping somebody right there.
I'm telling you, like 3 years. And so in 3 years, like I like, do you know how many times, and like, let's be real honest, you know how many times that I was without in 3 years? Like, I didn't know. I was like, okay, maybe, I don't need to be doing this. But I believe in my heart that really set me up for so much of what I'm doing now. It set me up, like I can negotiate a contract like anybody's business now. I know what to look for in a contract. I know how to negotiate my way through things. I know how to go to a table and talk with someone about what my needs and my wants are, all because I did that for 3 years. I traveled all over the world with her, and I was able to protect her and make sure that, she was good. And now it's come to a point where it's like I'm making sure I'm good. I'm making sure things are, in order, and I'm making sure that things are where they need to be. Just because I was able to do that, I don't think, and I know for a fact that if I wasn't able to do that for that long, then I wouldn't be able to be where I am. And not only that, I did another person, her name was Prophet Mathis, and I did her personal assistant for like 2 years, and I did that off of nothing. I literally served her for 2 years, and I traveled all over the world. And again, it just gave me so much experience, and it gave me so much the way to do things. I did things on a higher level with her. That was ministry. Mona was a little bit, entertainment, but but still, it just, it went hand in hand. And I truly believe, because I did all that, and I never asked for anything. I never, I never said, well, and when they did give, I took it and was like, okay, cool. Like whatever they gave me, I was so grateful for it. But I was so grateful for the experience, because it is now the reason why I can do so much in my business.
I believe so. I'm gonna throw this, and we are reaching the end of this. I'm gonna throw this out there, and you let me know what you think. I do believe that when you are destined for certain things, I believe your whole life is a mirror of where you will go.
Absolutely.
The greatest example I can think of right now is a Joseph, right, who is destined to lead. His vision is leading, period. Being the leader. But all of his circumstances tell him slave or ownership, or you know what I'm saying? But even in those places, he's still operating in leadership. I'm in Potiphar's house. I'm a slave to Potiphar. I'm leading by another man, but I lead everything he has. And so his entire life is a mirror of the place that he's destined to be in. How much of that do you think is relevant and true to our lives and to our to our lifestyles and the places that we're supposed to go?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely true. Just from my stories, like I don't think Yeah, I don't think I really realized how it was until I just started thinking about it right now. Like, even though I
I'll
wasn't
take
the
the offense
person.
for that.
Even though I was not the person to be up front, but I was still the leader. Nothing could go on without me. Like, nothing could go on or be approved if it was not seen by me. I was the leader in so many instances, in so many areas. Even though I was in the background a lot, I was still leading in so
Yeah.
many areas. So it's so true. And I didn't think about it as much until you asked for that example. And I was like, dang, I did all that. And now it is just so true.
And I would say just last question now. Talk to me about um, if an entrepreneur came to you
Hmm.
and they just got an idea and they want to start, what are the first things you tell them? If someone is coming to you and I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
I see that I can be this. This is my idea, and I know I can go so far, but I'm stuck. I'm in a place I really don't know what to do right now.
Hmm.
What do you tell that person?
Have you done your research? Are you really ready for what is it that you really want to do, and then have you put structure towards it? What kind of things that you want to do, what are you willing to sacrifice for this actual idea that you have, because there is a sacrifice. I love my family, but I just can't do certain things. I can't go out all the time because there is a point of time where I have to go home and get some things done. I'm always on my phone. My sister said the other day, she said, "Why are you still on your phone?" I have business to take care of.
Right.
So, what is the sacrifice that you really ready to give out when you are doing this business? Are you ready for that sacrifice? Have you done the actual research to do it? And then, do you know what it takes to actually execute this idea to the full potential?
Yeah.
Have you really thought about it? Have you really, put a plan together?
Yeah.
Do you have a plan? What are you going to do if it's not exactly how you want it to go? Do you
Yep.
have a plan in place so that you can be able to maybe go another route, or maybe execute it this way in a different way? Do you have plans ready for that? Because if you don't, I think that's the big thing, is just having a plan ready to go and run, and just think about the things that may happen. Think about the things that may come about while you
Yeah.
actually getting this idea off the
Yeah.
ground. And once you do that, then I think you'll be fine.
Well, before we go, I really
Yeah.
want to run into you're doing some major things. You come on here, you're so humble, and I just believe in God, and Tank is nice and all of this.
Ah,
But
yes.
I ain't gonna get you in no more trouble. But the truth of the matter is, you are doing some very amazing things.
Yeah.
And at the end of this month, I need somebody to say this month. You
This
are not
month.
this month. Not only are you celebrating 2 years, but you're also launching an app. I want you to take as much time as you need,
I
but please
won't.
not the rest of the night.
I won't.
As much time as you need to just plug that in and make sure we know what's going on. I'm glad to have been invited to be on,
Yay.
to be on the roster of the people that will be a part of that event. But just kind of tell us about the event and tell us about the launch of the app, what it means, how we can use it, how it benefits us, and how excited you are clearly about it.
Listen, I am so excited. I've been working so hard. I told you off air, like I've been up. It's
Yep,
been a very, very rough and very, tedious journey of this,
yep,
trying to get this app off. But I'm excited about it, like really, really excited about it. I'm excited to be able to bring young professionals in one place, and so they can be able to connect with one another. And then
yep,
not only that, the video content that we have, the first issue actually, with Ashley Muncie from Chicago, Illinois. It's all going to be all about what's going on in this world right now. So we're going to really tackle some really good topics so that the young professionals will be able to execute their brands to the best of their ability and be able to handle this pandemic that we're in. This app is so important for young professionals only because this is a place where you'll be able to get all the information that you would need about corporate America, about your
yeah,
health, about your finances, all in one app. And then once you do that, you could be able to connect with one another. it's going to be an amazing addition to what All Things Loop have going on, and I'm truly excited about being able to feature so many young professionals in there and being able to allow their voices to be heard, give them a platform so they can show that their business is out there, that they're really working in corporate America, and that
Yeah.
they are really doing some amazing things. So I'm excited. You can be able to download it at the
Come
end
on.
of this month. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited.
Well, with that being said, let's go back into.
Okay.
We're not going back into the.
Oh, okay.
We're done. But I'm just
Okay, good.
saying, from just from a standpoint of what you're doing and how we can find you.
Yeah.
If are you giving out sessions? Are you doing consultation? What are some of the things that you are doing, and where can we find you? Whether it be on social media, email, websites, all of the above. How can we get to you?
So you can find me. All Things Loop is actually where you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, across the board on social media. And if you are interested in being a part of the actual content of the app, you can definitely email us at staff@allthingsloop.com. You can pitch your idea. You can pitch what you want to bring to the actual app. And then once you do that, we'll get back with you between 24 and 48 hours. And I'm serious, we will. And, and yeah,
Some of us won't.
right, right.
You won't hear back for like 3 months.
Right. So, but we are really looking, we need content. We need content. Yeah. We need content. And the more content that, we get, we can be able to really inspire and to give our audience what they need.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you. It has been another episode of Conversation with the Politician.
Thank you.
No, I'm not a governor, senator, statesman, or anything like that. It's a nickname. But it has been another episode. I do want to thank anyone that shared it, liked it, laughed, commented, put it on your story page, whatever the case may be. I want to thank you for being a part of the conversation. And I want to thank our special guest, Kenya, for being out.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And representing All Things Loop in the best way possible.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. And I believe that everyone connected to you would be proud. So I'm thankful for you guys being able to share this time with us. And I hope that God blesses you. I hope you get off your butt and get some work done.
Do some work.
Do some work. Do not be watching Netflix tonight. I just believe I'm praying against the spirit of Netflix even now, and that you'll actually do something with what God has given you. Stop being unfair to the rest of us.
Yeah.
Because we really need what you have. God gave you something. I don't know if you've seen the climate of the world recently, but we're in 2 pandemics.
Yeah.
We're in 2 pandemics right now, and every voice matters. I was talking, actually, one of my best friends said the other day, back in the day, it was one person speaking for many, right? Yeah. We have Martin Luther King. That was the voice of millions. But today, it's a million voices, but one sound. And so we need your voice right now. So whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, go do that.
Yeah.
If one of us can help you, or if you know someone that can help you, go ask. If you ask me, I will help. It will be within 24 hours. It will. But if you need help, find it, get it, use it. But do not sleep on what God has given us. If you are, you're cheating the rest of us.
Yeah.
We really, 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 really need to. But with that, we're out. Be safe.
Bye.
Please wear your mask. Hand sanitizer. COVID is still out.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sick. And so please take care of yourself, and God bless.
God bless.